Today, it is my pleasure to be interviewing Laura Schmidt, who calls herself the Chief Positive Person and founder of Notes to Self. And Laura has a master's degree in management, and she was quite successful in business for many decades, especially in direct sales. And she'd always dreamed of having her own business and really making an impact on the world. Well, one day she had this amazing idea to put affirmations on toes, on socks. And that has really grown from 12 years ago with the start to what her children now call her sock empire. And I don't really remember exactly when I found the socks, but I can tell you that I have enjoyed them and purchasing them for Heal Your Life trainings, my family, my friends, and wearing them myself, of course. And it's just a wonderful and unique idea. So I want to really welcome her and just say that also, besides this wonderful business that Laura has created, she's also a philanthropist, and she has donated 116,000 socks to homeless shelters, women's shelters, and children in need. So this is a woman who really is focused on her purpose in life and has really been making an impact on the world, just as she had always dreamed.
Oh.
So welcome, Laura.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, Patricia.
You're
So happy
welcome.
to be here with you.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask you to start out with explaining how you actually got this idea to put affirmations on socks.
Well, honestly, my whole life, I've used positive affirmations like I am confident to help me with my confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea came to me, like you said, about 12 years ago. And my husband, Garrett, was driving, and our teenagers at the time were in the back seat. And I was the passenger and had just kicked off my tennis shoes like I often do on road trips and was reading a book about positive thinking. And I came to this part in the book that talked about how the subconscious mind is most open early in the morning and late at night, in that half awake, half asleep time when the conscious filters aren't quite up yet. And it hit me, what if I put positive words, positive affirmations on the toes of socks? Then twice a day, you'd be training your mind to think better thoughts without even trying. And I remember, it's like now that I look back and try to remember that day, I don't remember the exact details, but I have lots of ideas and I share them with my husband regularly. And this was just one of many ideas. And I remember telling him the idea, and I don't know specifically what he said, but I know it was something neutral or positive. And I feel like that's an important part of the story, because I think, what if he had even jokingly said something negative? It might have been enough to keep me from pursuing, what if I did try to make this happen?
Well, fantastic. Well, where did you first learn about affirmations so that you had that knowledge to say, hey, this would be an idea to help people?
I really think the first time I learned what an affirmation was, decades ago when I was building my direct sales business. I spent a few decades with Mary Kay Incorporated as a, sales consultant, and then also as a sales director. And they had a wonderful amount of training on positive thinking and personal growth. So that is really where I learned that.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, I'm very familiar with Mary Kay. One of our trainers has also been involved with that organization. So talk a little more about starting with 12 years ago, with this idea and how you brought it to fruition. I know you also just source everything in the US, which is wonderful. How you brought it to fruition and how it's grown, because it's really grown over the years.
Thank you. Yes, actually, there's another pair of socks I have with me. I Am Awesome is the first pair that we did, and it was white awesome with purple words, and our company colors are purple and gray and white. And I remember asking my son, one of my sons, about this. Like what he thought of doing I Am Awesome, and he was like, "I'd wear those," and so I really just started researching, how would I make socks, and how would I put words on them? And is there a way to put words on them? And I learned that there were different ways to put words on socks. Like you could screen print them or you could embroider them. But the way that I chose was the highest quality way, which is or what I felt like was the best way for the type of product is to weave the words in when the socks are made. So these are made in the USA on knitting machines, and the words are part of the socks when they're created. And I knew nothing about textiles or how to create a product. I'd spent decades being in sales, with a great company and a great product. But this was all new to me. And, I just went to my network. I started telling everybody I knew about the idea. And I had a friend who was in the t-shirt business, and he connected me with someone who he knew made socks. And I reached out to them and got samples and Googled how are socks made and US manufacturers and got samples. And they would send me samples of things they'd already made. And I would say, I'd like this to be a little different or this to be a little different. So I kind of created our own sock and, just got my first small orders in from different manufacturers and shared some of them just with family and friends. And then also people close to me bought some of the socks. I mean, my friend Susan, who is a top director in Mary Kay, was one of the first people to buy like a group of socks for her organization. And, it was like, I didn't even have the socks yet. I just had placed orders for them. So, there were people at the beginning that believed in what I was doing and helped me move forward.
Well, I think it's wonderful that you talk about reaching out to people that you knew and just for help, and also doing your research, because, again, you have to take an idea and apply the action to it to follow through. And you learned a lot in the process, I am sure.
A lot. Yes.
Yeah. So now along the way, and I'm going to ask you personally and with the business. We know in personal growth, there's a lot of change when you make the decision that you're going to grow personally. And I think all the work that Mary Kay does with a lot of that is wonderful. So what kind of challenges did you face personally, maybe professionally as well, and how did you overcome them?
Like all of us, there have been challenges along the way. I think one of the challenges that goes with this whole subject is confidence. Like from a young age, I was challenged by confidence. I was a little shy. I mean, I'm outgoing. My personality, the way I am as a person is an extrovert, but I was still a little shy. Actually, I was young in my class. My birthday's at the end of August, so I started school as the youngest person in my class, and I think that kind of played a role in being smaller and just a little bit less old through my whole journey. Yeah. And so when I learned about positive affirmations, I really felt like it was a tool that could help me with my confidence, and it has. I mean, and one of my favorite affirmations, I used to put them on sticky notes all over my world. I would write with lip liner on my bathroom mirror, I am confident. And those affirmations really have helped me with the way I think.
Well, and it's great that you're offering the tips on what you do or what you did with the Post-it notes and even writing it on your mirror. I think those are great ideas for people, because we normally write them on paper, maybe type them in the computer or something like that. But really having those ongoing, connections with the positive thoughts during the day, I think is great. That's really great. And I also want to say that you have,
and that's kind of what you go ahead.
That's okay. No, go ahead. I said, yeah, kind of what you were thinking with the socks, right?
Well, I was just going to say, like, that's what, like, I really feel like this idea just came through me, and it's a create, like, the words are in a place that you wouldn't normally expect them. So even if you're not paying attention, you're seeing those words
Mm-hmm.
and they're training your mind. I think they're like, anchors or tools that are around us, that I think the more positive things that we can put in our life, the better.
Better, absolutely. Well, and what I was starting to say is I know you branched out some from the socks as well, because I know that you have baby outfits, and that's something that I have bought because every friend that I've had who usually at my age it's their daughters who are having babies, I buy those baby outfits and they say I'm a blessing. And what a beautiful way to dress a child, a baby, in the beginning. So I think those are beautiful as well. And I think you have a few other products also.
Thank you. We do. We've branched out into like note cards that are blank on the inside, and they have a lot of our affirmations on the front.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I use those is like when I'll send someone a gift, I'll circle the affirmation that is specific to what I'm saying about them. Like, I am a great friend, or I am appreciated.
Oh, that's lovely. That's wonderful. And also for yourself,
And
how would you actually state your life purpose? You said in your bio about wanting to have an impact on the world and always dreaming of having your own business. So how would you state your life purpose?
I really feel like it is to use my God-given gifts
Mm-hmm.
to um, in a way that helps the world. And feel like that's kind of my intention now too, to continue to like focus in on what are the gifts that are unique to me, and how can me explore, how if I explore those gifts and develop those gifts, how can the world benefit from it, even
Mm.
if it's just a small way, even if it's just helping one person.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I think, it's so important also that you are really contributing the socks to groups that really would never see them otherwise. And so, how did you get started with that idea? And how do you find the places that you donate to?
Well, Patricia, I always, like from the very beginning, I thought that I wanted to be able to share our socks with homeless shelters, women's shelters, children in great need from the very beginning. And I admired other companies that were starting to do that. Like
Mhm.
Tom's Shoes was a
Yeah,
company that was
yeah.
starting around that time, or had been in
Mhm.
business for a few years. And I really admired that. And I didn't set this up like they did, where it's a 1-for-1. I mean, with it being made in the USA, it didn't work that way. But what I did set it up to be is just that we would share as many pairs as we possibly could. And the more pairs we sell, the more that we can share.
Mhm.
And I initially just started with shelters in the Kansas City area, where I'm from. And still, those are the places that receive the most socks,
Mhm.
just because, it saves on transportation costs, and the environment,
Sure.
helping the
Mhm.
environment that way. But we also, we basically, donate to shelters all over the US. And even a few people have gone on like mission trips abroad and have taken our socks with them
Oh,
that
lovely.
we donated. So
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, and I know over the years that I have been using your socks and buying your socks, that the affirmations have increased that are on there. And so now you have, I am a teacher, I am a great coach, I love my cat, I love my dog. so, so how did you decide which ones to put on the socks after you initially started? Did people just ask you for them, or did you come up with the idea?
kind of all of the above. Like from the very beginning, I thought I tried to pick the words that were most meaningful, or that I felt like were most meaningful. And then some of them are just fun. Like we have a crew sock that says "I am cool," and that's I joke and say that was named after, or that was created for my dad and my husband, who both wore black socks with tennis shoes and sandals when it wasn't cool, and now it is cool. But and then people started asking for more. We did, like great mom and great dad. I am a great mom. I am a great dad. And people
Mhm.
started asking for, how about great daughter? And so we of course added that, and great son and great sister and great brother. And my cat loves me, cat lover. My dog loves me, dog
Cat
lover. So
lover.
and
Right.
we have, gosh, we have over 100.
I
Yeah, we
noticed
have over
that when I
100.
was
So
on their website the
yeah.
other day that, it really has expanded quite a bit. Do you have any new ones that are going to be coming out?
The ones that have just come out that are the newest, I mean, we always have things in the works. But what the newest one that I love is, it says, the world needs me. And then on the bottom, it
Mm.
says, being me.
Oh, lovely. Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, I will definitely look forward to those coming out. Absolutely. And how many staff do you have at this point? I mean, you've expanded so much.
Yeah, we have about 10, a mixture of full-time and part-time. And we kind of fluctuate based on the seasonality of our business.
Mhm.
And then we work with a lot of independent contractors for things like graphics design and software and things like that.
Mhm. Oh, that's so exciting. That really is. And I know you said your children call it a sock empire now. And and are they involved with you, or have they gone off on their own kind of careers?
They're off on their own careers now, but they all have been involved at different times throughout
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
journey. All of them have like sat at a trade show with me before and helped with that. We used to do a lot. I'm at my home right now, and we used to do a lot out of our home. The first 2 years, we took over parts of their bedrooms and all of their bedroom when they went off to college. And our daughter during COVID worked full time with us,
Mm,
so that was a great
that's
blessing.
great. Yeah. Well, on your bio also, you talk about your background in sales and just, being very successful in business. So I think what's important for a lot of people, and we're talking specifically about women in purpose today, is that they need to honor the skills that they develop initially before they might get into the most fulfilling career that they have. And I see that, your background has some really strong skills that you brought into the business for Notes to Self now. So why don't you talk about the skills that you felt like you developed in those years that you were in the business world that you could bring into this very fulfilling career?
Yes, I agree with you that the things that we spend our time doing, um, prior, to finding the thing that is just a perfect fit, because I do think this is a really good fit for me and my gifts and my
Mhm.
interests. Um, and I had a lot of jobs through the years that were okay, but they weren't like
Yeah,
the perfect
right.
fit.
Yeah.
But like one of my first jobs at AT&T, I was a systems engineer, and I a systems analyst first, then a systems engineer, and I would write like I was an interface between the programmers and the users of the computer system. So I learned to write like if then else statements, like structured English. So I learned to think kind of like logically like that, which is
Mhm.
a lot like my website right now is, it's, I use a company that hosts it, but the kind of logical thinking that I learned has allowed me to set up all of our databases and our systems. Which if I didn't have that background, I don't know that I probably would have had to hire that out earlier on.
Yeah.
Um, and then all the years in sales, I spent 2 years in sales at AT&T and got such great training there. And
Mm.
then the decades in Mary Kay with all that experience in selling and, relationship sales and consultative selling. I mean, that probably was the skill that helped me the most to build this business, because I mean, I'll quote Mary Kay Ash. She was a great leader, and I've learned so much from her and the company that she created. But her statement was, nothing happens until somebody sells something. So that's one tip I always, whether you're in healthcare or, in a nonprofit, that if I was to give a young person advice on gaining skills, I would say put yourself in a situation where you learn how to sell, because it will serve you well in the future. And I also think that selling is not a negative word. It's like if you do it with, if you come from a place of helping the other person get what they want, then it's just like a partnership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we do talk about that in the Heal Your Life work as well, that, when you're offering a workshop, you're offering the person an opportunity to really transform their life. And that is a precious gift. It's really an important gift to have. Yeah. So that's great to really look at it in that
It
way.
is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
So
I think confidence, like you have to have confidence to be able to offer someone that,
mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And to really feel it within yourself. And, that's something that we do to promote as well, is to really feel that confidence that you have something really important to share with people. And Louise Hay's work, as you know, is just a really important process to help people transform their lives. So,
absolutely.
yeah. And what kind of personal things do you do, rituals, etc., on a daily basis to inspire yourself, to center yourself? What kinds of things do you do?
I really enjoy listening to podcasts. I enjoy quiet time where I don't have anything structured and I can just kind of create. I like, one of my favorite things to do when I'm overwhelmed is to bake chocolate chip cookies. And I think it's because it's the one recipe that I know by heart and I've done my whole life, and I make really good cookies and everybody loves them. And so, like, I don't know, and while I'm doing it, I can be thinking and not producing. I'm just thinking. I guess I'm producing the cookies, but it's so second nature
Yeah.
that I can really brainstorm
Mm-hmm.
and think about what if. That's my favorite kind of topic, is like, what if?
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Well, and when people are listening to this interview and hearing about your chocolate chip cookies, they're either going to want the recipe or want you to package them to sell them. So
I have thought about adding cookies to my line. I will tell you though, it's no secret. It's the recipe on the back of the chocolate chip bag.
Okay.
It's the Nestle,
Well, that's
the
good to
Nestle
know.
Toll House recipe.
That's good to know. Yeah.
I do substitute half whole wheat flour for the regular flour. That's my only little secret.
You change. Okay. Okay. But that's a great tip. Some people go walk in nature and you make chocolate chip cookies. So I think that's a fun thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the final question I have for you is, what advice would you like to tell women who are watching this interview that either don't know what their life purpose is, they want to find it, but they're struggling a bit, or else they kind of know it, but aren't really sure how to proceed to pursue it?
I would say like, try to see yourself through the eyes of someone that really loves you and admires you. It could be like seeing yourself through God's eyes, or through, a parent or someone that just thinks you're amazing, knows that you're amazing. And and like, and look into your heart and think about, if you could get past your fear, because I think fear keeps all of us from moving forward. And if you could get past your fears, what would you do with the specific gifts God gave you? And how could you help the world through overcoming your fears? Like, if you were, I know you can do it. I want to say it in the positive sense that when you overcome your fears, you are going to be able to bless the world in ways that you can't even imagine right now. So when you think about taking the next step forward, it's like it's going to help you move forward, but it's going to help so many other people that you don't even know. And I also want to say, it doesn't have to be that you do something grand and start a company or whatever. Maybe it is, but maybe it's just moving to the next level of your journey and helping one more person.
Beautiful. That's absolutely so wonderfully said, and I totally agree with you. So I want to thank you so much for this interview, and I'm sure it's going to inspire a lot of women to do their next steps in whatever their life purpose is, or to really find it and go within their own hearts to go forward. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Patricia.